I bet we can probably guess what many Americans are doing this weekend. Their taxes.
Or you just reminded them.
Ticking. The deadline right around the corner, Monday, April 15th.
Oh, yeah. While taxes are top of mind for a lot of people, some of them, we just reminded them, it's always wise to make sure that your personal finances are in check. Joining us this morning, James Virgilio, fiduciary investor and financial planner with Chacon, Diaz, and Virgilio. I just practiced this. Wealth management. Good morning.
Good morning.
That is a mouthful, Vanessa. That is a mouthful.
It is for sure. I'm doing very well.
Good, good, good. So, okay, not to call you out or anything, you're doing well. But you've done your taxes, right?
I have, yes.
Okay. So what should people know if they're under the gun? They're thinking, oh my goodness, what do I do?
Well, it's a couple of things they can do if they're looking to save money on their taxes. And there's really only a couple. One, you can contribute to an IRA.
Okay.
And two, you could contribute to an HSA, a health savings account. Outside of that, sadly, there's really nothing else you could do to reduce your tax burden on the investment side.
Okay.
I mean, how about like charity donations?
Sure, you can make those happen.
Okay, but that doesn't really...
But that's going to be last year's calendar
stuff,
year.
right? So
there's
those are things you do.
Correct. Those two things are all you can really do. So it's sort of this rush to get your taxes done in hopes that you could reduce your tax bill. Most of that stuff gets done during the calendar year.
So how much... I'm sorry, go ahead.
A lot of people have been surprised with some of the changes to the tax code and tax laws this year, and some people thought they would get something back, and they're finding out they have to pay. Can you explain some of the adjustments you might need to make moving forward after this tax season for next tax season, so maybe you can be in a better situation?
Sure. For the large majority of people, they actually are going to have a smaller tax bill. The changes benefited them, but minutely. For some people, it went the other way. Most of those things are very, very small and very independent of what's going on. The most important thing to do is estimate what your taxes are going to be. It's actually quite simple. You can take your income, your spouse's income, take a look at your exemptions, and get an exact idea of what you'll owe, and then try to make sure that you're going to be somewhere close to that when you're actually filing your taxes. One of the worst things you can do is get a huge refund, because in that regard, you've given the government your money for basically a full year that you could have used or employed elsewhere.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know some people, me guilty. I like to sometimes give a little more and then make sure I get a nice big chunk, because it's kind of like, I didn't know I had it in the first place. Now I can just put it away. But what would you say are one of the biggest mistakes people make filing, besides filing late, which is a big no-no, unless you file later? But I mean, what would you say is the biggest mistake for people?
One of the ones you just mentioned. So in your case,
what you're doing now.
In your case, you gave your money away that you could have used, spent, or invested, and then got it back later. But it was your money.
Right.
And so in reality, you just sort of had it disappear for no purpose, and then it came back to you, and it kind of psychologically felt good. The government loves this. It's one of the reasons why they push this refund. It feels good, get your tax refund. But in reality, you'd love to have that say zero, right?
So what do you advise people to do? You want them to adjust their withholdings? Do you want them to contribute more into different funds throughout the year? What's your advice to people?
Yeah, both of those things. Adjust your withholdings to make sure that it matches. You want to save at least 10% of your gross income for your retirement as a household. That's very, very important. That's going to wind up giving you a tax deduction. So if you work here at CBS, 10% goes into your 401k. You're going to save that on your taxes during your tax year. Then you can look at your withholdings to make sure that matches up for your taxes at the end of the year.
Or we get somebody like you to help us figure all that out.
And that can also help, yes.
We want to make sure that you're employed, that you're happy, so we'll give you our services.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me.
April 15th.
All right, there you go, guys.